Welcome to Mountaineer Football Tonight. Once again, it's Jeff Johnson, your host, here with head coach Greg Lloyd. Greg, welcome to the show again.
Glad to be back with you, Jeff.
So good. Listen, I want to share tonight. I'm so glad you're tuned in on our YouTube channel, KMHS Sports, and thank you to Drew Fulton and others for setting that up behind the scenes. I want to review tonight. We're gonna look back at the big win for the Mountaineers, 35-0 over Hunter Huss this past Friday night as we celebrated homecoming. We're going to share the players of the game. We've got special teams coach Michael Harris joining us as well. And then we're going to spend a few minutes looking ahead to this week's game at Friday night versus Ashbrook. And as time allows, we want to also invite you to send in some questions to mountaineerfootball@gmail tonight. If tonight you have any questions for Coach Lloyd that he can answer, please send those in during the show, and we'll try to get to those as time allows. We're so thankful here at Mountaineer Football Tonight for our sponsors. So we're going to take just a brief sponsor break, and then we're going to kind of get into it. Welcome back to Mountaineer Football Tonight with Coach Greg Lloyd. Coach, we had a big win, 35-0 over Hunter Huss. How good was it? I mean, the home crowd this week. I don't know if it was just the anticipation or perhaps the homecoming festivities. It was a great crowd this week.
Oh, it was a fantastic crowd, and it was into the game, and the players fed off of it. It was, it was a special night, and the crowd made it a lot better. Fans made it a lot better. The band was great. It was just it was a great night.
It's a good night. Well, I hope that you were either here in the stands at Kings Mountain High School, or perhaps you tuned into the broadcast here on the YouTube channel with Drew Fulton and Lamont Littlejohn. But I know for sure it was an exciting game, and we're going to show you a highlight package that really just kind of shows you the game. And you're going to see pretty quickly that the Mountaineers dominated this game. Let's show that clip. Well, Coach Lloyd, our viewers just saw the highlight video from this past week, I thought it was a dominant win by the Mountaineers. I know that even read an article you were quoted. The players seem to really have something to prove this week, coming off of a tough loss last year at Huss. It seemed like it was just a dominant win. Let's first talk about the defense, because to me, right from the outset, the first possession of the defense, when they took the field, they just seemed to really set the tone. Talk about how they really won in the trenches.
Well, I think that's where the game was decided early on. Our defensive front just really dominated their offensive line. We had pressure on them really from the first play on. We had some big hits. I really thought we played physical. We just did a lot of things right. Darryl Wilson and the defensive staff did an excellent job in preparing for the game. And then, of course, the players just executed. We got really good players, and they just played at a high level. And like you said, we really did want to win. They've had our number last couple of years, and they've got a really good program. And it was important for us to play well, and we did. And with only 2 playoff spots in the Big South assured, it was critical. The winner of the game has an advantage. Of course, doesn't guarantee us anything, but it does help us as we played our second game.
Yeah. Well, let's speak a little bit more about the defense. It seemed like, particularly right off the bat, that it seemed that every offensive set they were doing, we had players in the backfield. I mean, a lot of players who were disrupting the plays. How much does that really affect your secondary when you're getting the pressure on the quarterback, and then we know we had 3 interceptions in the game?
Sure, that's really a direct reflection of the good pass rush and, like I said, the disruption of the offensive plays and forcing 4 turnovers, 3 interceptions. Pass rush was phenomenal. Really, they couldn't block us. They just had a hard time blocking us. We're just so quick up front and aggressive, and a lot of guys played well. Of course, Jabari Rice Wilson, Trey Crawford, all of them. Derek Wilson. I mean, they just played phenomenal, and they just got after the quarterback, Ty Ledbetter. So just a great job by the defensive line, and their coach Michael Kennedy has those guys going all the time. So just a good group, and I'm glad they're on our side.
Yeah. Well, on top of the 3 interceptions and the forced fumble, yeah, 2 safeties as well. That's got to be good for the offense. You're getting field position. You're winning that battle as well. So as we transition and talk about the offense, I thought the offensive line did a good job, particularly in the running game. Was there a special emphasis this week really to run the ball? Didn't pass as much, but we really ran the ball a lot.
We didn't. I think week to week we're not quite sure till the game kind of unravels how the game's going to play out. But we felt, we were playing so well defensively. We didn't have to be really, we didn't have to be too cute, with our plays or whatnot. We were a little more conservative once we built a nice lead and we just ran the ball, controlled the clock, keep our defense fresh. I think that's a good formula for us this year. Have a good running game, still make plays in the passing game, then play good defense. And then I think our special teams are holding up very nicely. And so I think it was a good formula Friday, and I thought we played a pretty doggone good ball game.
It was a good game, definitely dominant on defense. I thought the offense complemented really well, taking advantage when the defense got the ball to them in good field position. The defense did that for them. The offense was able to stick it in the end zone a number of times. I thought running backs really ran hard and did a great job.
They did. And like you said, we got great field position. We were in 4 down territory to start a drive several times. We knew we were already inside the 40-yard line. We could run it 4 times, get 10 yards. We felt like we were in pretty good shape. And of course, we did make a couple of big passing plays too. I know Ethan hit Orlando Odoms on a couple of big passes. And so it was, it was just an all-around good win. I felt good about the effort of the players and the attitude of the players, and You know, we always say a lot about the will to win. I think they just had a will to win Friday, wanted to perform well, and they knew how big the game was, and they played like it.
Well, the Mountaineers had 286 yards of total offense, 100 yards passing, 186 yards rushing, and it was just a phenomenal effort, as Coach Lloyd has already shared with us. Any other impressions overall from the game that you want to share?
It was just a great atmosphere. I want to thank the fans for coming out. It was we got all the tickets sold, and anybody that could get in here, you know, was able to get in and pull for the team. And I know the players really appreciate that, and of course coaches do too. And it was a fun night. That's kind of what, you know, when you sign up to play, you want to be able to play big games in front of your hometown, and it was fun. And I'm glad things worked out for us, and hope they'll continue.
Well, I know, Coach, as the season gets on, as we make a playoff push, injuries can be a factor. And any significant injuries this week that the fans need to be aware of? Well,
we did get a little bit banged up. We only had one injury that'll hold the player out for some time moving forward. Colby Carroll had an ankle injury, had to have surgery on it, but he's resting comfortably. He's doing well, and he's very tough, and you know, I'm sure his family appreciate thoughts and prayers for Colby, but he's doing really good, and we expect to have him back when we get started back in the fall for the next year.
Yeah, we certainly want to be praying for that young man. Let's take us to a brief moment, and in just a little bit, we're going to have Coach Harris to come, our special guest today, to talk about the special teams development and how they did this past week's game. But let's do offensive player of the game, and then we'll do defensive player of the game.
Sounds good.
Players.
Sounds good. Well, it'll be a treat for everybody tonight for having Coach Harris down.
I'm sure it will.
Absolutely. All right, our defensive player of the game this week, we're giving it to two players. One will be Javari Rice-Wilson. Javari had 5 sacks, multiple tackles for loss. He graded out at 88%. Phenomenal effort. He is all over the field. And then our other player of the game on defense was Logan Patrick. Logan had an interception. He had 6 tackles, a tackle for loss, and he graded out at 100%. So he played just about as well as he could play. So a defensive lineman and a safety had big games for us. Then on offense, Rashard Brooks. Rashard rushed we had him for 102 yards and a touchdown reception and a touchdown rushing. He had a big night and led our offense, and he's a special player. Looking forward to seeing what he does as the season goes on. But those are our players of the game on offense and defense.
Wonderful. Well, congratulations to the players of the game on defense as well as offense. And after this sponsor break, we'll have Coach Harris come share the special teams player of the game, and we'll talk more with him shortly. Welcome back once again, and our special guest today is Coach Michael Harris. Coach, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Jeff. Thanks for having me.
So glad. Now, how long have you coached special teams here at Kings Mountain?
In 2015, Coach Lloyd asked me to head up the special teams, and so since 2015.
Wonderful. Well, I know you do a good job, and no doubt, there's 3 big phases of the game. We've talked about offense and defense, and you can't overlook the importance of good special teams.
No, we've won some games on special teams, and we've lost some games on special teams, so it matters.
Well, if you would, we're going to hold off for just a moment on the player of the game for special teams. We'll save that to be your last thing. But Share with us and our viewers, folks may not know, during a normal practice week,
Right.
you know, sometimes if you were to drive by, you see them running pass plays, running plays.
Right.
What's the focus on your average practice week on special teams? What are some of the things you're doing coaching them up?
Well, we have to do it a little bit different because out of 40-something players on our roster, I have 30-something players on special teams across 6 special teams, some of them offense, some of them defense. So it starts on Saturday. You break down some film from Friday night's game, and then using Huddle, just like this week, I took 18 special teams clips. I emailed them out to the players. They're marked up with notes and assignments, things we missed, and then we go over that on Monday, just verbally. And then on Tuesday, we have boards in the locker room. One is our depth chart for Kings Mountain, and then one will be the scout teams for the opponent that week. So the players that aren't on one team, they get on the scout team, and Coach Lloyd gives me an opportunity on Tuesdays. We go through every special team, go over it with a scout team, and then on Wednesdays and Thursdays, we either highlight 1 or 2 special teams, and then we do a game simulation. So we hit every one of them on Wednesday and Thursday, getting prepared for Friday.
We were talking before the show. Share with our viewers a little of the impact not having a normal off season with COVID and all that. How has that impacted, I guess, even as you guys are getting into the season?
Well, we're breaking in new kickers, and some of these kids have missed out on the opportunity to go to camps over the summer and get coached by professionals or get coached by different people, and sometimes that matters. You can tell a kid something to do all the time, and until they hear it from somebody different, maybe it doesn't resonate with them. So they've missed out on a lot of quality time, just them, quarterbacks, receivers, other players, same thing. And so that's how it's affected some of our kids. And so we had a short off season from when we could get started in football, and then now they're in games. And some of these kids are kicking in games for the first time ever.
Yeah, well, no doubt that was an impact, and turnover a little bit on personnel from last season. Got some new folks place kicking and doing that. It's impacted that. Well, obviously we've got 2 games now under the belt for the Mountaineers, 2 victories, where clearly from my vantage point, in special teams has played a role in both games. To share some of the positives that after 2 games this season that you're looking at from a coach.
Well, there's no doubt that when we've left our field house with our pregame meetings and we've gone down to warm-ups, we've been pretty locked in, and we've gotten off to great starts. I mean, with kickoff return for a touchdown. This past week, the kickoff return was close, and then we followed that up with the defense forcing a punt, and then we turned right around and we made something happen on that first kick. Now, as the game went on, we had some issues as it went on, and those are correctable mistakes, but I cannot fault the effort of the players. I mean, the players, we talk about a lot. If you're going to make a mistake, do it 100 miles an hour, and sometimes that happens. But we're going to make those corrections and just get better as the season goes on.
Well, I know you do a great job coaching up the players, and as this season goes on, our special teams are going to be vital as we look forward to a deep playoff run as well. Well, I so appreciate you being on the show with us tonight. As we close out from this past week against Hunter Huss, who's your special teams player of the game?
Well, last week, of course, it was Caleb Pala. He returned a touchdown. But Jake Lloyd also had 3 tackles in last week's game. This week he had he was in on 2 special teams tackles, and then he also got a paw on that punt that was a short punt that we got down there at the 25-yard line, and so that was a big play for us right there. So Jake Lloyd this week is our special teams player of the week.
Very good. Congratulations, Jake Lloyd, special teams player of the week for the game versus Hunter Huss. Well, Coach Harris, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you, Jeff.
We're going to take a quick sponsor break, and we'll look ahead to this week's football game versus Ashbrook, and Coach Lloyd will return with us. back to Mountaineer Football Tonight with Coach Greg Lloyd. Coach, it was great hearing from Coach Harris. I know from just experience and leadership, you've got to have good leaders around you, and I know Coach Harris does a good job.
He does a fantastic job. You know, we have an excellent staff here at Kings Mountain High School. I'm very blessed, and we got guys that know a lot of football, and they really care about the players. So, I mean, it's a good mix, and they do it for the right reasons. And I'm glad Coach Harris coming out so folks could listen to him, but he is a phenomenal football coach.
Good. Well, we're excited to have him, and we look forward in the coming weeks to also feature some of the other coaches on the coaching staff as well. Well, let's turn our attention this week to Ashbrook. This Friday, you'll be traveling to Ashbrook. Let's talk about it a little bit, Coach. Ashbrook hasn't had a winning season since 2013. Kings Mountain, the Mountaineers have had good success. What's your outlook overall as we face Ashbrook this week?
Well, I tell you, Ashbrook has always had good talent, and they have good talent this year. They have a new head coach this year, some new coaches on staff, so they're doing some different things. They seem to have improved week to week. Last week against Crest, they had some miscues early that got them behind the 8 ball a little bit, but they did compete pretty hard, and I thought their defense flew around really well. And then they've got several guys on offense that can hurt you. They have a good bit of speed, they have good size, and I think they're just trying to put it together, and so we have to be wary of that, especially coming off a big win. Sure can't look past them at all, and we'll be preaching that each and every day this week, and we need to go out and continue to improve. And it'll be our first road game. We'll be playing on grass. We've been on the turf every week, so it'll be a little different. So
yeah.
It looks like some rain this week, so it could be a little muddy out there. So we gotta get focused and ready to go.
Yeah. Well, as you mentioned, Ashbrook's got a new head coach, an alumni of the school, Darius James, and Ashbrook comes in with an overall record of 1-2. They lost to the Berry Academy from Charlotte 31-13. Defeated Forest View in the second game 9-7. And as you mentioned, lost to Crest last week. Hard fought, but a pretty big loss. I know that they'll be prepared. As you said, they're well coached, and we look forward to seeing you guys play them this week. Any other thoughts as you guys are preparing for Friday night's game? Any other thoughts you want to share with our audience tonight?
Well, we're just continuing to work. I feel like the offense from week to week's got a little better from the scrimmage to the first game to the second game, and I feel the same way about our defense. Even though we did play well defensively last week and the numbers look great, there's still areas for improvement, and I think that's what our players recognize. Of course, the coaches do. We're just trying to maximize our potential and try to reach our potential this season. Just see, just be at our best every Friday night, and it's just been a pleasure to work with the kids, and it's just looking forward to this week's game.
Well, I know the Mountaineers will be prepared. Coaches will have them ready. That game is this Friday night at 7 p.m. at Ashbrook, and from what I understand, there's just a limited number of tickets available to Mountaineer fans. So we definitely want to encourage you to tune in to the YouTube broadcast with Drew Fulton and Lamont Littlejohn on this very channel on YouTube. Pre-game will start at 6:15 for the game Friday night. Let's take a quick sponsor break, and then we'll be back and look ahead to this week here at Kings Mountain High School. Welcome back to Mountaineer Football Tonight as we wrap up this evening. Coach, thanks again for being with us. we want to let you fans know some other athletic events going on this week at Kings Mountain High School. Women's soccer, of course, they're wrapping up a game tonight, but they have a game Wednesday, 5 p.m. at North Gaston, as well as softball at 6 p.m. also at North Gaston. The JV football game, we want you fans to be aware, the JV football game has been moved back a day to Wednesday evening at 7:30. That is at South Point.
Yes.
And are the tickets available for that game?
I believe you'll have to get them at the game.
I believe they are. We'll try to make sure online that we get some information more about that game. But once again, varsity football will be playing this week, Friday night at Ashbrook, 7 p.m. And at this point, I don't know about ticket availability. We'll be sure. I know Coach Bridges and others will be making sure that information is made available online. Once again, please, Lamont Littlejohn and Drew Fulton do a great job. If you can't be there in person, you want to be sure to tune in to the broadcast here on Kings Mountain High School Sports Network on YouTube, their YouTube channel. Pregame starts at 6:15. The game's kickoff starts at 7 p.m. Coach, if we would, the last thing I want to share is that the next 2 weeks hold a lot of schedule changes for the team, and I want to get your insight on that, but I want to tell our fans and the audience know what to expect.
Okay.
Of course, got a game Friday night.
Yes.
They'll turn right around and play home versus North Gaston on Tuesday night, which is March 23rd, 7 p.m. Quick game, Saturday p.m. The Shelby game has been moved to a Saturday game. That's at Shelby, 7:30 kickoff.
Yes.
And then the following week, they'll play again on Thursday, again a shorter week.
Yes.
Home versus Forest View. Talk about that it's going to be a tough stretch for you.
It'll be challenging, but we've got an experienced ball club. We've got a lot of coaches that's been in a lot of different situations, so I think we'll be able to manage through it. But key will be to keep them fresh. They'll be wanting to play. They're eager to play. They love playing games, so it's just try to get prepared and be fresh to play. So that'll be the key for us, and you look forward to the challenge. I think it's ended up being 4 games in 13 days, so it'll definitely be a challenge, but it'll be fun too, and we're looking forward to it.
Yep. It's a good thing these players are young, right?
Absolutely.
You and I couldn't handle that game schedule.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of games in the next few weeks for the Kings Mountain Mountaineers, and an important stretch for the team as the season progresses. So, listen, thank you for joining us tonight for Mountaineer Football Tonight. Coach Lloyd, once again, it's an honor and privilege to sit here with you in this show. So thank you for being with us.
You do great. Thank you.
Well, good. Well, once again, sponsors, thank you so much. We're here in this great facility here at the Kings Mountain High School weight room. Thank you to Drew Fulton behind the scenes, pushing all the buttons that needs to be done. Thank you, sponsors, and thank you for tuning in, viewers. We'll show a sponsor video, and until next week, take care.